Good afternoon and welcome to my classroom. My name is Žaneta Dimitrovska and today I'm going to give you a micro lesson on underground parking garages and calculating the necessary slope for the access ramp serving the parking garage. There is a reason why am I giving you this lesson, and that's because it has been brought to my attention that soon in your drafting and detailing you are going to design underground parking garage for your office building, and I wanted to help you out with it because in our subject, which is specifications, right? You remember when we were learning about zoning requirements and zoning bylaws, you're going to see that many of those questions and that they are interpolating in between different courses. So since we are striving to become architects here, I will teach you how to actually use your knowledge from the zoning bylaws and the zoning requirements to calculate the necessary underground garage. So you are ahead of your subject. Okay. So as I said, this is our micro lesson today, underground parking garages, and by the time that I'm going to finish teaching you this, you're going to be able to actually explain the concept and the requirements for the parking and the underground parking, and then we're going to talk about the imperative ways of proper approaching design of the underground parking garage. And then I'm going to teach you a trick, which is one of my favorites, and that is applying geometry to obtain the necessary ramp slope. Okay, so instead of using lots of calculations, since we're visual people, we are going to apply pure geometry. Okay, I'm going to teach you how. So I want to also tell you that many of us architects avoiding, working on the underground parking garages because, some people think it's very boring, like it's a menial work, and I avoid doing that because I cannot express my creativity. And, you all are familiar with these scenarios, right? Which is a proper scenery for filming a horror movie, okay? It's dark and it's low, and I would be scared to do that, but once you learn the effective functional design principles, you're going to be able to design spaces like this, okay? And once you find a client who is rich enough to afford a little bit more on their parking garages, you will be able to design art spaces like this. Okay, so before I continue any further, I want to ask, a question. What do you think, guys? Why do we actually need parking? Okay, Tanya? Yes, Tanya, you're absolutely correct, because cars have become an inevitable item in our lives. So you can now go nowhere without having a car, or without using public transportation. But since all of us are driving, we need to provide the spaces where we're going to leave our cars, right? And preferable, we are going to provide spaces for parking next to our houses or next to our offices. We actually go to work, because what would be the point of actually providing parking somewhere if it's not really close to the building? And especially when we provide accessible parking spots, the handicap spots as we call them, and they need to be close, like really close to the building. Okay, so yes, Mary? Yeah, absolutely. You have a good point there, because the city needs to provide parking not only for its residents, but also for the visitors, right? Because we all want to provide good times for the tourists, so that they can return, right? And if they remember, they couldn't park their rental cars, and they were charged arms and legs so that they can leave them. They're bound not to come back. Okay, so that is one of the main reasons. Yes. Okay. Yeah, you all have good points. Now we know why we need parking. Now let's see how are we going to achieve actually that effective functional design. Okay, first of all, we need to have internal functional layout. Okay, what do we mean by that? Who can tell me? Yes, Stephen? Okay, tell us. Yes, absolutely, you're correct, right? Internal functional layout would mean that we are actually designing to achieve the best possible solution that there is, right? And then we should never forget that we are actually designing for people, right? So if our buildings don't attract people, no matter what are the technological and the technical achievements that we have done with our building, we have actually missed the point, because we are not attracting people. So first and foremost, please remember that we are always designing for people. Okay, then we need to know what are the parking space dimensions and how many of spaces we need to provide. Then please never forget about the structure, right? Why is that important, especially in the parking lots? I mean, underground parking garages. Who can tell me that? Anybody? No? Any guesses? Okay, I will tell you. We have to provide an optimal bay, we call them structural bays, so that we can cluster the parking spots, so that we can array them in between the columns, right? Makes sense, no? Okay, because if this is the optimality that we can achieve here, right? So we are actually always aiming towards 9 meters, right? Because it's an optimal number, so that we can cluster the parking spots. Okay, you'll see later why is that. Then we need to provide enough space for mechanical and electrical operational equipment, and that usually goes on the P1 level, and P1 means parking level 1. Okay. Next thing that we need to know is the turning radius of the cars that are going to come in the garage, so that we can provide functional driveways. Then we need to know the parking efficiency. And if you remember, once I mentioned what parking efficiency is, so let me see who was listening to the previous lessons. Okay, anybody? Okay, Kelly, go ahead. Yes, see, Kelly knows. So Kelly remembers. Thank you. I'm really glad that you are paying attention, Kelly. So parking efficiency would be the parking spots that we have provided in the garage, divided by the GFA of the building. Yes. And what is GFA, guys? Stephen? Absolutely correct. So that would be gross floor area. Okay, so see, so that would be our effective functional design. Okay, and now that we know the rules, so now let's see how many parking spots do we need. Okay, and the best way to do that would be to Google it, right? No? Okay, we won't Google it. Okay, I'm going to teach you the proper way. So we need to know how we can find this information. So remember when we were studying about the zoning bylaw, that is the document actually that is governing given municipality where your building is. So in this case, we are going to look at the Toronto zoning bylaw. Okay, let me show you how that looks. And we are going to look for a specific table. And this, in this case, would be the table 205.10.1. Okay, so that is the parking space ratio and the parking space occupancy. So this is your table, and you will see here that first you have What do you have here? Nightclubs? No, we are not designing for a nightclub. We are not designing for a restaurant. We are designing for office building. And you will see here the requirements for according to what type of GFA you have, how many spots you need to provide. Okay, and please pay attention to this, because by the end of this lesson, what you're going to do is you're going to couple up with the person sitting next to you, or whoever you want, you know, just be two people in a group, and you're going to go through the motion of looking at the actual bylaw which governs your municipality, where your office building is, and you're going to calculate, because I know that you already designed the building, right? So you know what is your gross floor area, and you're going to find what are the necessary parking spots that you need. Then you're going to try and calculate how many floors you're going to need, okay? So I'm going to give you 15 minutes by the end of this lesson to do that, and you're going to write that down, and then we are going to examine what are your answers, okay? And if anybody is going to have troubles, you are going to come to me, and we're going to resolve those questions that you have, okay? So that's how you're going to be ahead when you go and design for the other class, all right? That is going to be your actually assignment for the end of the lesson, okay? Okay, so let me continue. So now that you know how many parking spots you need, you also need to know how many accessible parking spots you need to provide, right? Yes, Steven? Okay, yeah, you're correct. And those parking spots are going to be with different dimension than the required ones, the regular parking spot, which are here. And the city of Toronto here is asking us for 2.6 meters by 5.6 meters for the minimum size of a parking spot. Okay, so now here also you can see how we array them in the structural base. Okay, so see here we have 7.8 meters column to column on the central line, and we can practically fit 3 spots there. Okay, so now that we know how to put the parking spots together, let's see what is going to be the width of our driveway. What is the width of our driveway? Can anybody tell me? Not really, but okay, let me teach you how you're going to do it. You're going to look where? At the zoning bylaw. Okay, absolutely. Okay, let me show you here. I made some nice sketches for you. Okay, so this is the first scenario where you have two-way actually vehicle traffic, and that is going to happen when you have parking spots arrayed on from 75 degrees to 90 degrees on the center line of the drive aisle. So then you would need 6 meters, okay, of driving aisle, because it's a two-way traffic. Okay, next scenario would be if you have your parking spots arrayed at an angle, and the angle is going to be from 50 to less than 70 degrees. Okay, and then it's going to be one-way traffic, right? You know why, right? Okay, John, let me know why. Okay, tell us why is that happening? Yes, you're right, because it would be difficult to park going backwards, you know, in a steep angle. So for that driveway, we need 5.5 meters, and if we have parking spots arrayed at less than 50 degrees, then we're going to provide 4 meters driveway. Okay, excellent. So before you go to actually doing your assignment, okay, and the assignment is you're going to actually calculate how many parking spots you need for your office building. Okay, so let me show you how you're going to do the calculation for the ramp. Not actually the calculation, you're doing the geometry So this is going to be the geometrical way. So practically you're just drawing the height of the floor to floor, and then you're going to apply the 12% slope, and that's how you're going to get the length of the ramp. Okay, so now that we know how to actually apply all of these rules for the effective parking design, and let me again repeat them. Okay, what was it? Okay, first, okay, who is going to tell me? Yes, Tanya. Yes, internal functional design. Then parking space dimensions. Next, Peter, entrance and exits. Okay, Terry, turning radii. Excellent. Kevin, positioning of the operational equipment. Excellent, guys. Tanya, the floor slopes. And what are the floor slopes? Who can tell me? 5 to 6.5%, you know, for the whole plate. And then for the ramps, Terry again, okay, from 12 to 15%, and providing traffic and pedestrian circulation. So this is how I'm going to conclude my lesson, and please take your pens and start doing the calculation for your office building. Good luck. I'll see you after.